Hey Stampers, it's Debbie with Stamp It with Debbie, and I'm back with week 5 of the 8 weeks of Halloween, and I have this really fun Kit Kat holder to show you how to create today using the Stampin' Up! Takeout Treats stamp set along with the Takeout Thinlits dies. Let's get started. The first thing that you need is a piece of cardstock cut to 5 inches by 7 inches, and you'll be able to get 2 of these out of 1 sheet of cardstock. You also need two pieces of designer series paper cut at 2 1/4 by 2 3/4. You'll need a little scrap of, this is Gorgeous Grape, and I did stamp one of the stamps out of the stamp set, and I already cut that out. It's this stamp along with a coordinating framelit, and I stamped this in Highland Heather ink. You also need a little scrap of white cut at 1/2 inch by 2 3/4. We're going to need to do a little bit of scoring, so I'm going to grab the scoreboard. And on the long edge, which is the 7-inch edge, we're going to score at 2 1/2 and 3. And then we're going to turn it to the short edge, which is the 5-inch, and we're going to score it at 1/2 inch, 1 inch, 4 inches, and 4 1/2. And that's it for the scoring. Then we need to take our paper snips, and we're going to cut a little bit of this away so that we can create our box. And on this part here where you made the scoring in the middle, you'll see a couple squares. We're going to cut from those squares all the way up on this longer edge. So we're going to be left with the shorter edge. So we're going to go ahead and cut. And I like to cut just whatever side is being left. I like to cut the score line with the piece that's cutting off, just so it doesn't leave a bump there. I'm going to cut this off. And then we're also, whoop, guess I didn't cut that enough. There we go. We're going to do the same thing on the other side. All right, and I'm going to leave this here for just a minute so you can kind of get a visual what it should look like and what needs to be cut off. You can go ahead and take a screenshot if you need to. We're going to need our bone folder to burnish the edges to make sure we have a good crisp fold here. So we're going to use that on all of the remaining score lines. All right, and this is what we end up with. Now I'm going to go ahead and add my designer paper on before I fold up the box. I think it's just going to be a little bit easier. This one I use the bats on the outside. This one I want to use the stars. Let's put a little bit of adhesive on both of these pieces. And the first piece is going to go right here at the top. And then the other piece is going to go right here on the front part. All right, the other thing that I'm going to do is I want to punch a hole right up here so that we can get our ribbon through, and I'm going to use the detailed trio punch. And with this punch, you can get all of these. This is a corner rounder. This is just a little design you could do on the corner, and this actually leaves a hole. So I'm going to, I just think it makes it a little bit easier. I'm going to turn it over so I can see the orange side. I'm just going to put a little dot there, and then I'll make sure to put that in upside down. So when I turn it over, I can see, I don't know if you can see that little dot you can see through there. And then for this punch, you don't want to push all 4 or all 3 sides down. You just kind of want to push on the edge that you want, and it'll punch that right out for you. So now we're ready to put some adhesive on this, and we need adhesive just on this outer rectangle here. So this is going to come up and fold up here. So we want to put it on this, the edge closest to the score line. I'm going to use tear and tape today. I'm just going to put it from top to bottom. I'm going to put it on both sides here. And then just peel off the backing. And you can just do one side at a time if it's easier for you. When you bring it up, you're going to want to make really sure that your edge of the back of the paper lines up good, makes a good corner there. So we're going to do the same thing over here. The tear and tape's pretty sticky, so you don't get a lot of forgiveness. Maybe push that all the way down to the bottom there, and then bring it up and make sure it matches. So there we go. Our box is all set. Now we're going to need our greeting here. So I'm going to put that on a little piece of scrap paper, just make it a little easier to stamp. I'm going to again use the Takeout treats, and I'm going to stamp something sweet to eat. And I'm just using some black ink. And then I'm also going to use, in this set, there are some little candies right here. Hopefully you can see those. I'm going to stamp a couple of those onto the sides, just to kind of fill up that space a little bit. And then I'm going to use my Stampin' Blends. I have the light and dark Highland Heather, and I also have Pumpkin Pie. And I'm just going to color my candies in a little bit. And I just randomly, I didn't color them all the same, just you could use different colors. And then one last one is the light Highland Heather. And so that's all set. The last thing that we need to do, as I told you, I already cut this piece out using the framelits and the coordinating stamp set, or punch. Framelits, I'm sorry. We're going to use the Spooky Bats punch and cut out a few bats. So we just need a scrap of basic black. And now we're ready to assemble. The first thing I did is I took this piece here and I put a couple dimensionals on the back. And I'm going to just put that on the front of the card here. And then this piece is going to be raised up a little bit because we have this with dimensional, so we do need a dimensional on the far end that's going to be raised up a little. When you turn it over, that's the right side. So I also need a little bit of adhesive on this end to stick it to the piece that I already cut out. And then I'm going to use my Tombow adhesive to adhere. I don't know if I'm going to do more than one bat or just one bat on this one. I think I'll put a couple bats on this one. I only did one on the other one because there were so many bats in the paper. But I'll put 2 on that one. Maybe since I have a third one, it punched 3 out, I'll put the last one right up here. Now we do need a piece of ribbon up here, and I'm going to cut a piece of the glittered organdy ribbon. It's very, very sparkly. I'm just going to grab a little piece of it, fit it through the hole there, and then I'm going to use some of my black baker's twine and cut a little piece of that. And I'm just going to tie this together up here at the top. You can tie a bow or you can tie just a knot if you'd prefer. I did a knot on the other one, so I'll tie a bow on that one. Cut off the loose ends, and I always like to cut just kind of a little angle at the top of my ribbon to make it look a little better. And then the last thing that we need to do is put our little miniature treats inside. These are a little smaller than the Kit Kats, but they still work. So there you go. 2 mini treat holders that you can pass out to friends or family, co-workers, anybody really this Halloween, and they're so much fun to make. If you need supplies for this or any of your other stamping projects, I would love it if you would visit my store at stampitwithdebbie.stampinup.net. And if you love this video, hit subscribe so you never miss a video. Thanks for stopping by, and I will see you next time.